At exactly 3:13 a.m. every night, a hospital room that isn't supposed to exist gets a new patient. The problem is, no one ever remembers admitting them. Emily Carter was a night shift nurse, 7 years on the job. No fear of blood, no belief in ghosts. Until one night, she walked into room 13 and realized something was already lying in the bed. By morning, the patient was gone, but the nurse never left.
At St. Mercy General Hospital, the night shift didn't feel like time passing. It felt like time holding its breath. The building never truly slept. Machines whispered to each other in sterile tones. Ventilation ducts exhaled warm air that smelled faintly of antiseptic and old plastic. Somewhere far down the east wing, a heart monitor beeped out of rhythm as if struggling to remember what it was supposed to sound like. Emily Carter stood behind the nurse's station, staring at the digital clock. 2:41 a.m. She rubbed her eyes and took a sip of cold coffee that had gone bitter hours ago. 7 years as a trauma nurse had trained her body to function on minimal rest, but the night shift still did something strange to her sense of reality. Sounds stretched, shadows lingered longer than they should. Emily believed in logic. She believed in vitals, charts, lab results. Fear was something patients experienced, not her. Still, her eyes drifted again, down the east wing hallway. The lights there always flickered. The hallway was longer than the others, ending in a single door most staff avoided unless absolutely necessary. Room number 13. She hated that number, always had. Not because she believed in superstition, but because the hospital did. There was no 13th floor, no gate 13 in the parking structure. Yet somehow, room 13 existed anyway. Empty, unused, waiting. Focus, Emily whispered to herself. She picked up her clipboard and began her rounds. Room 9, sleeping. Room 10, IV drip steady. Room 11, elderly woman murmuring in her dreams. Everything normal. Too normal. As Emily stepped past room 12, the call light buzzed sharply. She stopped. Room 12's patient was post-op, stable, sedated. She pushed the door open. "Yes?" she asked quietly. The man lay perfectly still, chest rising and falling in slow, even breaths. The call button rested untouched beside his hand. Emily frowned and reset the light. As she stepped back into the hallway, she heard something else. A beep. Slow, measured, mechanical. Her stomach tightened. That sound didn't come from room 12. It came from further down the hall, from the end, from room 13. Emily stood frozen, listening. Beep, beep. "That's impossible," she muttered. Room 13 wasn't connected to monitoring equipment. It hadn't been assigned a patient in months. She knew that for a fact. She'd checked more than once just to reassure herself. Still, her feet moved. The hallway lights dimmed as she walked, motion sensors hesitating, flickering like indecisive thoughts. Her footsteps echoed louder than usual, bouncing off the sterile walls. The door to room 13 was closed. The heart monitor beeped clearly now. Emily reached for the handle. It was cold. She hesitated, then pulled the door open. The room was dark except for the pale green glow of a heart monitor beside the bed. And the bed was not empty. A man lay beneath thin white sheets. Late 40s, maybe early 50s. Pale skin stretched tight over sharp cheekbones. His eyes were closed, his chest rising gently with each breath. An oxygen cannula rested beneath his nose. Emily's breath caught in her throat. How did you get here? She whispered. She stepped inside. The air felt heavier, stale, like the room hadn't been opened in a long time. "Sir," she said, "can you hear me?" The man's eyes opened. They were clear, focused, too aware. "You're late," he said calmly. Emily swallowed. "I'm sorry, I don't see you listed on my board. What's your name?" The man studied her for a moment, then smiled faintly. "That's not important," he said. "You always come eventually." A chill crawled up her spine. She moved to the wall chart holder. Empty. No name, no admission paperwork, no barcode. "I'll need to verify your admission," Emily said, forcing professionalism into her voice. "I'll be right back." "You don't need to," the man replied gently. She turned. He was watching the heart monitor. Vitals are stable. Blood pressure's fine. Oxygen saturation is good. You don't need to check. Her heart began to race. "How do you know that?" He looked back at her. "Because it's always the same." Emily backed toward the door. "I'll return shortly." The man nodded. "Of course," he said. "You always do." The door clicked shut behind her. Emily hurried to the nurse's station and logged into the system, fingers shaking. Room 13. Unassigned. She searched by description. Nothing. She picked up the phone and dialed the night supervisor. "There's a patient in room 13, she said quickly. "He's not in the system." A long silence followed. Then the supervisor sighed. "Emily, we've talked about this." Her blood went cold. "Talked about what?" "There is no patient assigned to room 13. I'm telling you, he's there." Another pause. "Emily," the supervisor said quietly, "if you're overtired, you need to tell us." "I'm not hallucinating," Emily snapped. "I'll send Mark, but listen to me. If this is happening again, don't stay in that room." "What do you mean again?" The line went dead. Emily stood there, staring at the phone. Then the intercom crackled. "Nurse Carter." Her breath caught. She turned slowly toward the hallway speaker. "Room 13 needs you." Her name echoed unnaturally, stretched by static. Emily grabbed her flashlight and walked back down the corridor. Room 13's door was open. The man was sitting up now. "You shouldn't use the intercom," she said, voice tight. "I didn't," he replied. "The room did." She noticed something new, a hospital wristband on his arm. She stepped closer. The name field was blank, but the number was clear. 0313. "That's not a patient ID," Emily whispered. "That's a time." The man smiled. "So is yours." Her heart slammed. She looked down. Her staff ID badge hung from her lanyard. Normal. She exhaled shakily. "You need rest," she said. "I'll come back later." As she turned to leave, he spoke again. "Emily." She froze. She hadn't told him her name. "Yes?" she whispered. "You don't remember the first night," he said softly. Her pulse thundered in her ears. "What first night?" The man lay back down. "You will," he said. "Everyone does." The hallway lights flickered violently. Emily stepped out of the room. The digital clock at the nurse's station flipped to 3:13 a.m. Behind her, the heart monitor flatlined. Emily Carter did not remember walking back to the nurse's station. One moment she was standing outside room 13, staring at the darkened doorway, the echo of the flatline still ringing in her ears. The next, she was sitting in her chair, hands folded neatly in her lap, staring at the computer screen as if she'd been there all along. The clock read 3:26 a.m. Her heart pounded. How did I get here? She checked the system again. No alerts, no codes, no record of a flatline. Room 13 still read unassigned. Emily swallowed hard and stood up. The east wing felt wrong now. Not darker, not louder, just subtly misaligned, like a familiar room rearranged while you weren't looking. The ceiling lights flickered in patterns she didn't recognize. The air felt thicker, pressing against her skin. She approached room 12 again. The patient was awake now, staring at the ceiling. "You okay?" Emily asked. The man slowly turned his head toward her. His eyes widened slightly. "You're not supposed to be out here," he whispered. Emily frowned. "What do you mean?" He swallowed. "You were in the bed. I saw you earlier." Emily forced a smile. "You must have been dreaming." The man's gaze drifted past her, toward the hallway. "Room 13. They always come back different." Emily stepped away, heart racing. She checked in on 2 more patients. Both reacted the same way. One refused to look at her. The other asked what it felt like to die the first time. By 4:02 a.m., no one would meet her eyes. At the nurse's station, Mark, the orderly the supervisor had promised, finally appeared. He was a broad-shouldered man in his 40s, calm, grounded, the kind of presence that usually steadied her nerves. "You called about a patient?" he asked. "Yes," Emily said quickly. "Room 13. He was there, hooked up to a monitor." Mark's expression changed, not surprise, but something closer to exhaustion. "Emily," he said carefully, "come with me." They walked together down the east wing. The hallway lights flickered, then steadied. Room 13's door was open. The room was empty. The bed neatly made. No monitor, no equipment. Emily stepped inside, breathing hard. "He was right here," she whispered. "I talked to him." Mark checked the corners, the bathroom, the wall outlets. "There's nothing," he said. "What about the monitor?" Emily insisted. Mark turns to her slowly. "Emily," he said, lowering his voice, "do you remember why this room was closed?" She shook her head. "No one does." "That's the problem." Back at the station, Emily noticed something strange. Her reflection in the dark computer screen lagged just a fraction of a second behind her movements. She blinked. It corrected itself. By 5 a.m., her head throbbed. Memories felt slippery, like they refused to settle. She tried recalling her drive to work, her dinner, anything before the shift. Nothing felt solid. At 5:13 a.m., the intercom crackled again. "Emily Carter." She didn't jump this time. "You're forgetting again." Her chest tightened. "I don't want to remember," she whispered. "You always say that." Emily stood and walked toward room 13 without resistance. The door opened on its own. The man lay in the bed again, same pale skin, same calm eyes. "You came back early," he said. "What is this place? What are you?" He studied her with something like pity. "This isn't about me," he said. "It's about you." She shook her head. "I'm a nurse. I work here." He nodded. "You worked here." Emily felt dizzy. "No," she said. "That's not true." The man gestured toward the wall. "Look." She turned. Carved faintly into the paint were words, shallow scratches, layered over each other. "I wake up here. Don't trust the clock. I was the patient." Emily's breath shook. "I didn't write that," she said. The man smiled gently. "Not this time." Her wrist began to itch. She looked down. Her staff ID was gone. In its place, a thin plastic hospital wristband. Her name was printed clearly. Carter, Emily, room 13, admitted 03:13 a.m. She tore at it, but it wouldn't break. Panic surged. "I'm not supposed to be here," she cried. "This isn't real." The man's voice softened. "It feels real every time." Emily stumbled backward. "You're dead," she whispered. "I heard the flatline." He nodded. "So did you." Her heart skipped. "What?" He sat up slowly. "You coded 3 months ago. Night shift, East Wing, room 13. Images flashed in her mind. Blinding lights, crushing pain, voices shouting her name, then silence. "No," she whispered. "They brought you back," he continued, "but something stayed behind." Emily clutched her head. "I remember collapsing." "You remember dying," he corrected. She looked at him, horror dawning. "Who are you?" The man met her gaze. "I was the last one who didn't come back." The lights flickered violently. Alarms echoed faintly, distant and distorted. "You help the room now," he said. "You bring the others in." "I don't," Emily sobbed. He smiled sadly. "You always do." The intercom crackled. "Patient in room 13 requires assistance." Emily backed away, tears streaming. "I won't do it," she said. "I won't." The man's expression hardened. "Then you'll stay." The room darkened. The door slammed shut. Emily screamed as the heart monitor beside the bed began to beep, matching her pulse perfectly. Beep. Beep. The clock on the wall flicked backward. 3:12 a.m. Emily Carter woke up screaming. Her lungs burned as if she'd been underwater too long. The sound ripped out of her throat and echoed off tiled walls that felt too close, too clean. The scream stopped when she realized she was alone. She lay flat on a hospital bed, thin sheets pulled up to her chest. A heart monitor beeped steadily beside her. The oxygen cannula tugged at her nose. Beep. Beep. She turned her head slowly. The room was dim, lit only by a small lamp near the door. No windows, no clock, no equipment she didn't recognize. Room 13. Her memory came back in fragments, like broken glass cutting deeper the more she tried to piece it together. The man. The wristband. Her name printed where it shouldn't be. "I'm not staying," she whispered. The door opened. Mark stepped inside. He looked normal, too normal. Same uniform, same tired eyes. Relief crashed over her so hard she almost cried. "Mark, thank God. You have to help me. Something's wrong." He didn't move closer. "You're awake earlier than usual," he said. Emily's heart stuttered. "What do you mean?" Mark glanced at the monitor. "Vitals look good." "No," Emily said. "Listen to me. I'm a nurse. I work here. This room." "You did," Mark interrupted gently. She shook her head. "I still do." Mark sighed, like a man repeating a conversation he'd had too many times. "You collapsed during your shift, East Wing, 3 months ago." Emily swallowed. "I remember that part." "You coded 3 minutes, 13 seconds." Her breath caught. "They brought you back," he said. "But you never left." Emily sat up too fast. The room spun. "What does that mean?" she demanded. Mark finally met her eyes. "It means you're between," he said. "And room 13 doesn't let go of what belongs to it." The door closed behind him with a soft click. Emily stared at it. Then she noticed something worse. The monitor. The heart rate wasn't hers. It was slower, steadier, like it belonged to someone asleep. "Hello?" she whispered. A voice answered from the corner. "You don't remember the rules yet." She turned. The man sat in the chair this time, hands folded calmly in his lap. "I told you," he said, "you'd remember." Emily backed against the bed frame. "You're not real."
He smiled. "Neither are you. Not completely." Her pulse raced. "What happens now?" she asked. He tilted his head. "Now you choose." The lights dimmed slightly. "Choose what?" He stood and walked toward the wall, tapped it gently. "You can keep fighting," he said. "Every night you wake up confused, you stare the patience, you disturb the balance." He turned back to her. "Or you can accept your shift." The word hit her like ice. "Shift," she repeated. He nodded. "Someone has to stay awake in this room. Someone has to greet the ones who arrive between life and death." Emily shook her head violently. "No, I didn't agree to this." "No one ever does." Images flooded her mind. Patients she remembered vaguely, faces that never appeared on charts, people she comforted thinking they were hallucinations. They weren't. They were like her. "How many?" she whispered. He shrugged. "Depends how long you last." A distant sound echoed through the room. Footsteps. Emily turned toward the door. A woman stood outside the glass panel, late 20s, hospital gown, confused, terrified. A new arrival. "She's not assigned here," Emily said desperately. "She shouldn't be here." The man's voice softened. "She's dying," he said, "and she doesn't know it yet." The woman knocked weakly on the door. "Help me," she mouthed. Emily's chest tightened. "She needs a nurse," Emily said. The man looked at her. "You are one." Emily stared at her trembling hands. She stood. Each step toward the door felt heavier than the last. "No," she whispered, "this isn't fair." "It never is," he said, "but it is necessary." Emily opened the door. The woman looked at her with desperate relief. "Thank God," the woman sobbed. "I couldn't find anyone. They all kept looking through me." Emily swallowed her fear. "It's okay," she said automatically. "You're safe." The words came too easily. The woman relaxed almost instantly. The room seemed to breathe. The man smiled. "See," he said, "you remember more than you think." The woman lay down on the bed, as if guided by invisible hands. The monitor adjusted itself. Beep. Beep. Emily turned back to the man. "When does it end?" she asked quietly. He shook his head. "It doesn't." Her reflection caught her attention. She looked at the wall mirror. Her face looked calmer, more distant, like someone who had already accepted something irreversible. "What about you?" she asked. He met her gaze. "I stayed too long," he said. "Now I can finally rest." The lights flickered violently. The man faded, slowly, peacefully, until the chair was empty. Emily stood alone in room 13. The intercom crackled. "Patient admitted to room 13. Emily turned toward the bed. The woman was sleeping. Peaceful. Emily checked the monitor. Stable. She adjusted the sheets. Her movements were confident now, automatic, familiar. She glanced at her wrist. The hospital wristband felt lighter, permanent. The clock on the wall blinked to life for the first time. 3:13 a.m. Emily Carter sat in the chair by the bed, waiting. Down the hall, footsteps echoed again. Another knock. Another arrival. Emily didn't flinch. She stood, smoothed her scrubs, and opened the door. "Come in," she said softly. "I've been expecting you."